year long, we have loved taking you all across Kentucky for our Hometown Proud shows. So we're going to wrap everything up with a really special travel show. It's a special holiday show. It's called Hometown Proud Holidays. It is rolling out this Friday, Black Friday. So while you're at home relaxing, this is going to be really great to help you plan kind of where you want to go with your family to enjoy some holiday celebrations and, of course, plenty of shopping. Kitty Duguid is here in the studio today. She is the director of the Kentucky Main Street program. We're excited to have her here because I feel like, Kitty, you know, talking to you about the idea of what a Kentucky Main Street is really kind of fueled the idea for the show, because these Kentucky Main Streets are super precious and great places to visit. So thank you again for like brainstorming with us for the overall idea. Why is it so important, you think, for people to visit these main streets over the holidays?
Well, the whole premise of Kentucky Main Street is that we are preserving our traditional historic downtown commercial districts. And so while we do that all year long, it's really important during the holidays because those are some of the biggest days for our small businesses. And that keeps them going. And they've had a really hard last 2 years with COVID, and so they have a lot of big special things planned for this weekend.
They sure do.
Yes.
They do. And many of them, like, we wanted to have the show on Black Friday and it had a Small Business Saturday because so many of them have like big things that they're rolling out this weekend.
Tree lightings, parades, and a lot of very special shopping events. So, you know, be sure to stop in and see them all. It's
Santa
great.
and Mrs. Claus will be very busy.
Yes, Mrs. Claus has already been very busy helping us, and she calls me on a regular basis to see where to go. So.
I know it. How many Kentucky Main Streets are there, like, officially throughout the state?
We currently are working with 29 communities.
Oh, wow.
And that can ebb and flow sometimes because it is quite a process to be a main street.
Yeah.
But they are nationally accredited. We are part of a national program. We are the oldest statewide program in the nation. We started in 1979, so we've been revitalizing communities for over 40 years.
And that's the key thing, is that when you're designated, and that's why the process is kind of lengthy, is that when you're designated an official main street, it really, it's revitalization, it's growth, it means everything to these cities and these counties.
Absolutely. We're preserving your historic buildings because with good buildings you get good business.
That's right.
We're making sure that we are creating a sense of place. So those places that people are used to growing up with, that we are creating those for the generations today and the future. So all those really special places that give you that authentic Kentucky experience.
Yes. And I want to give everybody kind of a sneak peek of what the show, the hour-long show, is going to be like, because we did our interview in Bardstown, Kentucky, with Bardstown Main Street, and that's always a super, super special place to visit as well, just because, I mean, we know Bardstown, Kentucky, just how bourbon capital of the world. They're rolling out a lot of stuff, and I don't know, would you say around the state they do a really good job of like utilizing those beautiful buildings and great boutiques and shops and restaurants and like stuff to do all day long?
Absolutely. And that is a big premise of getting all of those things together to make those wonderful communities. Absolutely.
And then we also ventured over to LaGrange Main Street. They're the host of our show. Yep. Judith M. Military made sure that we have some hats on as well. It was super fun to go over there because we've done so many shows in LaGrange Main Street. That train going down the Main Street corridor.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yeah, and this year they're going to have like music pumped out during all the festivities. Yes. We also had a chance to visit Maysville, Kentucky.
Yes.
And that was like, I kid you not, like stepping onto a Hallmark movie set, right? Like that approach into the town has just a very, again, like you're saying with the buildings and the shops, it has a very picturesque feeling to it.
Yes, and creating that experience for the people that not only live there, but for the tourists who come see them, it makes it a really special event.
We also want to mention other places that we're visiting. Melanoma Marketplace is here in Louisville. It's not on a historic main street, but it's a great marketplace that just opened over in Mall St. Matthews. Also talking to the Kentucky Historical Society at Porch Potts Direct. But going back to Kentucky Historical Society, they've just been a great resource to talk about, you know, the history of Christmas and the history of Kentucky kind of traditions.
Absolutely. And they are actually right next door to our office at the Kentucky Heritage Council. So we work with them a lot.
All right. I love your t-shirt, by the way. I gotta mention this because this was like a thing, is that every city we went to, people wanted to show shirts. right? Proudly display their town's name. So thank you for wearing the Kentucky Main Street shirt.
Yes, this is our logo, and so you can look for it across the state, and you'll know that you've entered a Kentucky Main Street.
I had a t-shirt made that I wore in Campbellsville. Well, this is the tight shot of it, but we just made like a Kentucky Christmas
Oh,
in
I
an
love
old
it.
fashioned, right?
Yeah.
Our friends over at Dirty Tees put that concept together, and this was taken Campbellsville Main Street too. I need to mention
Yes.
Campbellsville Main Street was another main street that we visited, and they created that tee. And then when we went to Maysville, they're presenting us with shirts. So we started something, Kitty.
I know.
There's a lot of pride.
Listen, Caroline
going
starts a
on.
lot of stuff. And
She
if you
does start
haven't
stuff.
joined in, we do have the Holiday Shopping Challenge.
Yes.
And so you can challenge your friends to shop in a local store and pick out what you're doing.
it.
So it's been great. And you can post that to our Kentucky Main Street Facebook page.
Well, thank you so much for working with us on this show, all the ideas, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving
Yeah.
and watch the show on Friday.
We will.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
So
Thanks
good-
for having us.
Thank you for stopping by. Our Hometown Proud Holiday Show airs this Friday, November the 25th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. It's also live on WHS11.com and streaming on the WHS 11 Plus app. That is on Roku and Amazon Fire. Getting you in the holiday mood for sure.